there is this let's talk about this. There is this very, very bigoted take that reactionaries engage in all the time that devalues invalidates the experience that trans people, gay people, lesbian people, like everyone in the LGBT goes through by saying, oh, you're just doing it for attention. Right? But because of the activism, the years and years of activism, and finally forcing the hand of legislators into taking action, some parts of the LGBT experience have become normalized in the United States, right? Specifically, lesbians and gays. That doesn't mean that they're still as well off as like cisgender heterosexuals. Obviously not. But it's a little bit better than the rest of the LGBT community. So now what has happened is that very same bigotry that was launched towards everyone in the LGBT community, specifically the gays and the lesbians, is narrowing its focus on to queer, non-binary, trans folks, right? And I am not even talking about bisexuals, because a big problem with bisexuals is bi visibility. But usually they just get lopped under the gay or lesbian or whatever category, no matter what. So, folks, right? Okay, shut up. Stop trying to fucking take the conversation somewhere dumb right now. I'm trying to make like a bit of a serious statement because I'm not very good at the gender stuff. You guys already know. And I don't want to fuck around for like one moment, and then we'll make some jokes in a second. Okay? So, but most people here, almost every single person here makes fun of the folks with an X thing. Okay? It's like overcorrective. It's silly. Folks is literally straight the fuck up, non-gendered. Like, it's stupid. Who cares? So anyway, there are new findings that came out in this Gallup poll, and Glenn is talking about how some really fascinating findings in this big new Gallup survey on Americans identifying as LGBT. It should lead to lots of deeper investigation to understand what explains some of these astronomical changes, but for now, a few points to note. There's been a huge explosion in the number of Americans identifying as LGBT. Close to 1 out of every 5 Gen Z identifies. That's more than a 4-fold increase from Gen X. But almost all the increase comes from those identifying as bi or trans, not gay or lesbian. So, is gender ignorant the right term to be using for non-gender words, or am I having a massive brain fart? I don't fucking know, dude. Okay. So, a normal person would probably look at this and go, oh, how nice. How nice that as a consequence of all of this activism and the normalization, that a lot of people are coming to terms with their sexuality or their gender orientation, gender identity, gender expression, all of that sort of stuff, and are more willing and able to openly admit to themselves and others that they are a certain way. A psychopath would look at this and go, they're putting chemicals in the fucking water, brother. So that means, they're force feminizing you. They're turning the frogs fucking gay. And Glenn Greenwald, on the other hand, is alluding to something here. And that is the bigoted thing that I just described when I first introduced the subject, which is maybe they're trying to win brownie points within the PC community because it's fashionable and trendy to be trans. Okay? Trans trenders, as Natalie would say, or has talked about before. So, the last part that he was mentioning, but almost all the increase comes from those identifying as bi or trans, not gay or lesbian. Of Americans now claiming bi identity, the vast majority of them in long-term relationships are in opposite sex relationship. rather than same-sex ones, 3.7. So 10 times more people who identify as bi live in a hetero-appearing relationship than gay lesbian ones. So this is just like old school internal LGBT bigotry, where like a gay person is saying like, oh, bi, but you're like still fucking, like you say you're bi, but you know, you're in a long-term relationship with an opposite sex. Like, why do you claim that you're fucking bi? It doesn't mean that you're bi. You're just probably straight. Like, you're just fucking straight, which is really stupid. And that's actually what bi people say is bisexual erasure. Ironic, because, you know, I sometimes joke about that. Okay? Bi people have 10x as many opposite sex people in the dating pool compared to the same sex. This doesn't mean anything. Binary gender roles push cis people to think they're trans. Those people sometimes get into the crossfire of this whole transgender thing. So transgender KW? No, it is. People legitimately think that like people are faking being trans. I think you're putting words into his mouth. I don't want to speak to the authors of the data of their discussion, but I don't think what Glenn did was patently wrong. Finally, he hasn't said anything yet. These are not normative statements. These are just descriptive statements of the data. Okay, so I haven't said anything yet. I'm just simply stating that he is alluding to a certain concept that has been around for a very long time. Finally, as famed lesbian Kitty Perzog notes, there are now among millennials and Gen Z more people identifying as trans than lesbian. She's previously argued that masculine girls are now encouraged to identify as trans, causing a decrease in lesbian population. Now, that encouragement is psychotic. What the fuck? Like, what do you mean encouraged to identify as trans rather than lesbian? Like, is there someone out there who's like, you're trans actually, you should be trans? Is that how this works? A famed lesbian. Here's Katie's article exploring whether the disappearance of lesbian culture is due to the encouragement which masculine girls receive from the society, therapists, healthcare workers, etc., to identify as trans, not as lesbian women. So this is straight up transphobic. Like, what he's doing here is, this is straight the fuck up transphobia. Okay? Now I'm going to describe to you why it's straight the fuck up transphobia in a brief moment, but let me just finish everything he's saying. Clearly, the massive increase in Americans self-identifying as LGBT, an increase due to overwhelmingly more bi and trans self-identifiers, is partially a function of increased societal acceptance, but that's clearly not the only factor, and I doubt it's the primary one. So that is the reason why I said this is not just descriptive. This is not him just like looking at the data. This is him implying something. And that implication literally fucking comes with an Andrew Sullivan, Notorious TERF, Substack, written by the other like turfy lesbian Katie Herzog, whatever the fuck. Now, what I have to say to all of this as a cisgender heterosexual man is this. How the fuck do you, as a gay person or as a lesbian, literally fucking turn around and say, trans people are faking it for social acceptance and brownie points, even though they're actually fucking lesbians, when I, as a cishet person, could turn around and be like, gay people are doing it for the exact same reasons, dumbass. This is such a dumb fucking take, especially from someone who is literally a part of the LGBT community, because it's the exact same bigotry that members of the LGBT community have been subjected to throughout time. Oh, you're not gay. You're just doing it for attention. You're not fucking lesbian. You're just doing it for attention. Wait, why did you stop doing this for attention and, go fuck a dude, okay? Lesbian woman. Why don't you just stop being so fucking attention seeking and go fuck a dude? Is exactly the same kind of gatekeepy horse shit that straight people have been subjecting the members of the LGBT community to for a very long time. So very weird that like people are like, well, now my position is normalized, so I'm just going to literally fucking turn around and do that same shit that I was subjected to trans people. Maybe, and just maybe, people are coming to terms and recognizing that sexuality is fluid. That would probably lead to an increase in why people identify as bisexual. Okay, because there's no fucking magical brownie points you get for being bi. Like, this isn't, guys, this isn't fucking 2014 anymore. Okay, like, putting they them in your bio doesn't automatically give you a fucking shield on the internet. Okay, sorry, it's just, that's not how it works anymore. So I mean, I shit on fucking trans people when they say stupid shit all the time. It's not like that. Like, it doesn't work that way. It's literally how, by the way, that's literally, it never worked that way. Okay, it never fucking worked that way. But that was straight the fuck up a position that reactionary people held on to in that era. Okay, that is what people thought. That was what they were saying. It was like, oh yeah, I'm trans, so you can't fucking shit on me. Fuck you. I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I can. That was absolutely a reactionary position that people held. They thought that trans people could just do it to put up a shield of deflection. Okay. Or not trans people, but like people that were just identifying as trans. That's not a real thing. Okay, still does. No, that wasn't a real thing in like fucking 2014. Maybe amongst like liberals who are overcorrective and morons. Okay, but that's not a real fucking thing in general. It's like saying, it's the same energy as like fucking heterosexual people saying that like heterosexual rights are being diminished with the existence of like gays. Okay, it's the literal exact same fucking thing that like white people say when they're like, black people having more civil liberties means I don't have as many rights. Okay, that's it. It's not a fucking real thing. As a matter of fact, when you straight up when you put your sexuality or your gender on there in that way, you're opening yourself up to a litany of attacks, a line of attack. All right? There are liberals out there who will put on kitty gloves when dealing with trans people. Those are the same kind of liberals and the same kind of fucking energy that those exact liberals give to black people, for example. It's like weirdly infantilizing, okay? Where it's that same like white guilt or like overcorrective liberal mentality that revolves around treating black people differently and not wanting to step on any toes or anything like that. Okay? But those liberals are a tiny fraction of the overall pool of human beings. I think a lot of id center leftists also partake in that. Yes. The irony is that a lot of people that shit on identity politics are just as obsessed with identity politics as the fucking Tumblr kiddies that they claim they're dunking on. Okay? It's just dumbass culture war shit. The argument literally is, I don't care. Just let people fucking live. What the fuck is wrong with you? Stop being an asshole. Okay? Jesus Christ. I agree that Ben Shapiro thinks more about pronouns than 99% of people on the internet. Absolutely, without a doubt. I've made that joke I've made that joke many times. Also, this looks like the lesbian population increased, so I don't know why they were saying it decreased. Millennials lesbian population is 0.8%. Gen Z lesbian population is 1.4%. So I don't know why they... Like, I don't know what that means. The Tumblr kitties and the bigots are all the same in the way that they don't understand the issues at all, but one of them is like, oh my god, small bean, and the other is like, let's stone the gays. Yeah. He's so fucking obsessed, he actually never covers anything else on his show. I don't know how he gets funding, because a lot of people just love getting a fucking easy dunk. It also makes a lot of leftists sound like reactionaries. It's like they turn off their critical thinking skills. They didn't say it decreased, but that transgender people now outnumber the lesbians. Well, that in and of itself is at the heart of being a TERF, right? Like, it's the existence of trans people as a legitimate threat to your existence. It's not. There's just more people accepting that they're fucking trans, dumbass. Shut the fuck up. If you were inferring from the data, it would make more sense to assume gay men are being pressured to be trans, but of course he went down the NPC TERF talking point about lesbian erasure. Yeah, it's pretty funny because like because of the normalization of misogyny, like no one gives a shit about TERFs. Like most people are just like, you're a fucking weirdo blue-haired lesbian, like shut the fuck up. What are you talking about? So in a weird way, like TERFs get double fucked, and the only people that they can have an allegiance with is people like Glenn Greenwald or, you know, fucking other reactionaries that are in that moment just trying to be transphobic, and they're like, oh look, this is a feminist and this is a lesbian here, yeah. Like, but like TERFs are like the common enemy of every single fucking group on the internet. Okay. TERFs, trans exclusionary radical feminist, like the unironic radfem, like this screeching fucking blue-haired person, like that is literally a TERF for the most part. And the allegiances that they think that they're building with like other weirdos. Bunlar SA. Arkadaşlar. Aleykümselam arkadaşlar. The allegiance they have with other like reactionaries is just like put together with fucking glue and tape, okay, with shoestrings. Turguarma. The Gallup article is much better. What? I don't hide this cookie shit. Jaho'dan geldik. SA. AS arkadaşlar. Oh, you're saying TERFs? I thought you said Turks. I was going to be like, chill, eat some börek. No, TERFs. Trans exclusionary radical feminists. Like, these are like the feminists that fucking spend their every waking moment crying and complaining about fucking trans people existing and acting like, you know, trans people want to fucking have sex with them or something because they're using the same bathroom, even though trans women are women. You know what I mean? It's just fucking stupid. It's just stupid and fundamentally broken all over.